Hi, everybody. Just give me 2 seconds. Y'all know me, I'm always late. I had to make myself something to drink. And I wanted to light up my candle to keep my and this ain't got no damn. I'm gonna timestamp the for anybody who catches it on stream. I will timestamp it so you can we can get to the good stuff. Gotta light my candle. I need that good energy, guys. All right, let me set up my phone. I know I'm always late, and I already know I'm gonna hear it from Amanda. All right. All right. Let's see. Let's let some people come in. Hi, Ty. Amanda's here. And we have Kiana. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Jenna. How are you, love? Yes, I'm late. I know, Amanda. I'm late. Okay, it's... You should know me by now already, okay? It's not that I don't care, because you guys know I love you all. I had to make sure I had my drink ready, lighting up the candle, and because I have, for some reason, I feel like we're gonna now that we are like really getting more involved and we're really creating more more waves, and we're really just going in hardcore with the awareness, we're gonna have a lot more people coming in. I'm sure of it. We're gonna have people coming in trying to interfere. So that's why I lit the candle. I lit the candle because I just want to be in a very zen mode. Ty, his trip was awesome. He had a great time. His dad took him everywhere. He came home with a little tan, but he had like one of those farmer's tans, like when they wear the shirts and like certain parts of your body are tanned. And he had like on his nose. But he had a great time. He had an awesome time. And he was even more happy to be home, because the minute he got home, he ran right to his room and was like, "Yeah, Mom, good to see you. Mwah, kiss, kiss, all that good stuff. Leave me alone. I'm going to my room." But he had an awesome time, and I'm glad. He definitely deserved it. He really did. Thank you, Jenna. Thank you. This is one of my favorite lipsticks. It's like a magenta, pinkish kind of. I was trying to find a good lipstick, nice pink lipstick. This was the closest I was going to get to it, because since we have to still wear our masks, I don't really wear glossy lipsticks, because then like half my face comes off on the mask. So I'm like, yeah, we'll stick with matte lipsticks. Hi, official. How are you? Guys, so good to see you all here. I'm sure more people will come pouring in. And like I said, I'll timestamp it. We're going to timestamp it in, let's see, what are we, 5 minutes in? So I'll timestamp it within 5 minutes. 6 minutes to be safe. So we're going to get this started. Guys, welcome to Intuitive Vibes. If you're new, stick around. Okay, if you're coming in, you're checking things out, come stick around. You may hear something that you need to know in regards to your situation. And of course, if you find today's live to be helpful, or, just to be a cool place to chill, check out some of our other lives, check out some of my other content. You may get something that you need. I mean, I've been getting, a lot of feedback in regards to a lot of old videos, which is great. That's great, guys, because, that lets me know that people are actually taking the time to go into the channel and really like dig deeper. And I'm really glad. I don't know if you can like notice from the time it started up until this point, like the big differences in, you know, one, my confidence to be here live with you guys and, you know, to be able to do these videos for you guys. But just, you know, my knowledge of so many different things that I didn't even know about a couple of years ago. So it just goes to show how determined I am. I'm like extremely determined to, you know, get whatever general information it is that you need, and whatever help it is you need, I'm here for it. I did want to, I know I made a post on the community board, but I'm just gonna, you know, it bears repeating. I'm gonna be working on the next, hi Cicely, hi sweetheart, hi Stella. I'm going to be working on my next 2 videos, which are going to be female sociopath. I know I did a video on the female sociopath, and that actually got a lot of attention. That video was really, you know, oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. That video got a lot of attention, and it really got a lot of responses. So it's, you know, even though they say that the chances of you coming across a sociopath is not as likely as the chance of you coming across a narcissist. Even so, it's amazing how that video, I decided to kind of like step from narcissism and see if I can go into sociopathy. And I'm glad I did, because that video had gotten so much feedback, and it had gotten just, you know, so many views, and it really just, a lot of people were pointing out, oh my gosh, I knew this person who was like that. And you know, I just want to go more deep into it now. Now I want to delve more deep into it. You guys know me, I do a lot of videos based on narcissism in general, but I do put a primal focus on female narcissism. Okay. And I have my own personal reasons for it. It's because, you know, I'm a mom, I have a son. And of course, you know, I don't want to seem biased or anything like that, because ladies, you know, I got your backs too. I definitely want to really help people understand that female narcissism, though studies and, you know, statistics try to say it's not as common, I really beg to differ on it. I really beg to differ on it. And it's really important that we understand, you know, whether it be your friend, your lover, it be your relative, you know, your mom, your sister, your niece, your aunt, whomever, it's important that we really go more hardcore with it. We definitely go more hardcore. So yeah, I've decided to do another video on the female sociopath, but we're gonna now go, like, we're gonna basically peel the onion on it, really peel the onion on it, and get more into detail. And then afterwards, I want to go into the female psychopath. Okay. And I'm pretty sure it's not far from the female sociopath, but, you know, just like you have a sociopath, you have psychopaths. There are differences, there are similarities. And at the end of the day, whatever type you're dealing with, you know, you need to know, and you need to prepare yourself. That's what it's really all about, preparing yourself for any kind of situations that may present itself. You know, I mean, look at where we are. You know, we didn't even think that, we didn't even know what narcissists were until we actually experienced it and actually had to, you know, do the work on ourselves and get the help that we needed to understand what it was that we were dealing with. Let's just make sure. Hi, Adam. Hi, Davey. So guys, more people are pouring in, which is great. I love to see that. I love to see more people come in. And of course, the people who respect one another, that's completely, you guys know how I am with, I'm very big on respect, you know. And what I wanted to discuss, and it was kind of interesting because I was talking to Amanda about it over the weekend, and we were discussing, you know, we were discussing a lot of different things. I was talking to her about certain experiences that I had. And I actually had, you know, I had a form of a breakthrough with a trauma that I had from, you know, when I was a child. And I sat with her and, you know, I spoke with her. And yes, I ended up in tears. I ended up crying, but then again, nothing's new with that. And And I was discussing with her in regards to well, we were discussing certain things when it boils down to narcissism, because I know a lot of people have a lot of different people have different takes on narcissism. Okay, my approach to the subject, my approach to the matter, is on a clearly on a psychological, on a I don't even want to say science based, because psychology is more about theory, so to speak. But a lot of people have made other comments in regards to other videos, or when I do certain lives, and I'm always open to everybody's opinions. I'm not here to judge anyone. And what they were pointing towards, a few people were pointing towards, was the spiritual aspect of narcissism. Now, I the reason I don't go too hardcore on the spiritual aspect of narcissism is because not everyone believes in what I believe in. Okay, just like not everyone would believe what you believe in. And I try to keep it as logical as possible so people can have a more clear understanding to the matter. But in this case, you have a lot of people who talk about the subject, and they talk about the spiritual nature of narcissism in regards to people who walk around with demons and so forth and so on. So I'm just gonna just really quickly go over this, and we'll move on to the next thing. But when people talk about the spiritual aspects of narcissism, in that they tell people, well, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term the Jezebel spirit. A lot of people who are of Christianity, who believe in in Jesus, or who believe in God, or they often refer to narcissists as having the Jezebel spirit. And if you're not familiar with who Jezebel was, I mean, if you've ever heard someone call someone a Jezebel, or it's clearly it correlates with a very negative, very sinful type of it gives a very negative and sinful kind of meaning. I don't know why my words aren't coming out. I guess because I'm talking about it. It's like but the Jezebel spirit, I've actually done a video, and I'm mad at myself that I didn't post it up on YouTube, but I did post it up on my Instagram. So if you want to catch the video with reference to the Jezebel spirit and narcissism, you can catch it on my Instagram, intuitive.empath83. And it's more of the older videos, but you'll see it. You'll see the cover of it. But basically, people who refer narcissists as having the Jezebel spirit, in case you were wondering who Jezebel is, if some of you don't know, in the biblical sense, it's it's pretty much, Jezebel is, long story short, she is what we would consider a malignant, oh, I would probably list her as an overt narcissist, but she's a very malignant type of narcissist. And she basically was, she married into her, what would be the term for it? Her becoming a queen, she married into that status. I believe it was the king of Israel, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on it. I'm paraphrasing here, but I believe it was the king of Israel. But she basically became a queen. She manipulated her husband. She was a very devious woman. She was very conniving, very superficial, very arrogant. And she craved power. She always wanted power. And she was willing to do, now let me rephrase that. She would do anything possible to gain power, to gain whatever it is that she wanted, even if it meant manipulating her own husband. So what she managed to do, I'm just going to give a quick reference. She managed to manipulate her husband to murder someone, okay? All because she wanted this person's land. Now, this person had, land that they inherited from generations before. She wanted that land because she's a queen. She wanted to overrule everything, and she wanted that land. She managed to manipulate her husband in convincing him to murder this person in order to obtain his land. Okay, she manipulated him severely to the point this relationship between her and her husband, I believe his name was Ahab. I believe it Ahab or Ahab. I don't really know how they pronounce it, but we'll call him Ahab. She managed to convince him to, to pretty much, she manipulated him to the point where she can have him murder people. She can have him do anything. And this was all for her own personal gain. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, guys, but Jezebel is also the one responsible for having the prophets, God's prophets, murdered. Okay. And because of all of this that was going on, God had warned her several times. God warned her to stop, repent, because God is, of course, a forgiving God. He forgives us for our sins. And I know some people are on the fence about that because, when people commit murder and things to that effect, but who are we to judge, right? So he tried to convince her. She wouldn't do it. She craved that power too much. That is, she didn't even believe in God. She believed in a totally different, I know the name is, the God that she believed in was Baal, but it was just, you know how God is, okay? You don't believe anybody else but me. And of course, that was not her intention. So she believed in a different God. And she just basically worshiped materialistic things. She worshiped the power. She worshiped, having everything at her feet, being the queen. So much to the point that she pretty much took over the role of that masculine king type of energy. And her husband was the opposite of that. It's like polar opposites. Long story short, after everything happened, God decided enough was enough. And, she met her demise. I think she was thrown out of a window. She was kicked out of a window or something. And she was pretty much dead. So how this basically, it goes down the line is her spirit is one of the higher ranking demons in Satan's clan. Okay. And her spirit, because of her arrogance, her pride, her ego, her lustful ways, her desire for power, her manipulation, everything that she embodied, Satan basically uses her to, because, come on, let's face facts. Demons, spirits, bad spirits, however way we want to call it, they may not do things to us. They may not do things to harm us. Maybe some people they do, but they're mostly here to influence us. They're here to influence us to take us away from what we're supposed to be doing in this world, if it's supposed to be God's work. Her spirit, when people reference her spirit as, the narcissist is walking with the Jezebel spirit, they're walking with the dark spirit. They're basically walking with the spirit of Jezebel. So she's influencing them. She's oppressing them. She's pretty much, and listen, I believe people can walk around with very bad attachments, very bad spirits in their presence, in their life, and these people, clearly, if you're a spiritual person and you believe in that aspect of it, I mean, I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm not saying that it is. I'm saying that this is pretty much how it works on both ends of this, of the spectrum, whether it be psychology, the study of psychology, or it be the spiritual aspect of it. It is not hard to believe, though, that people of this nature, people of narcissistic nature, are walking with very bad spirits, influencing them, giving them the idea that their behaviors will grant them, because it's pretty much the devil walking on their back, kind of walking behind them like, yeah, don't worry about it. I got you. Manipulate, lie to people, use people, deceive people, make people turn away from their beliefs, make people turn away from God. If you notice, if you dealt with someone who's a narcissist, if you believe in God, if you notice, you weren't really going to him as much when you were in that dynamic, when you were in that relationship. It was kind of like something else was taking over you, taking over the whole situation. And, most people would say, well, that level of toxicity, that negative, dark nature is, the evil spirits that are surrounding both of you. because you become consumed in all of that. You become consumed, but not to forget though, because you do have narcissists. You have narcissists who are into the dark arts too. So keep that in mind. Whether it be on a spiritual aspect of conjuring demons, conjuring spirits, or it be on the universally spiritual aspect of, generating extremely negative energy, extremely bad energy. Regardless of it, you're dealing with someone who has some serious issues, some serious trauma. Okay, so psychologically, some serious trauma, spiritually, walking with some serious demons. And at the end of the day, you don't win out of this. You don't win out of this situation. But if you are dealing with narcissists, and this can go for your family too, guys, because family members, I'm going to tell you something. If you have people who are into things like that, like the dark arts, black magic, voodoo, things to that effect, your family members, it could be anyone in your family who is a narcissist that gets involved in that kind of stuff, that's kind of like them binding themselves to you. So they're basically attaching themselves to you and having a spiritual hold over you, which is why a lot of people who, when they come out of it, whether it be God brings them out of it or they actually wake up and see things for what they are. That is, just looking back at everything, you notice that your relationship with God isn't broken, but it was completely strained because you were so embedded in your relationship. You were so caught up in the person that you were with. God is stronger than the devil. We know that. God is stronger than the devil, but we are human and we set ourselves up sometimes to fail. We do. We are, we're not perfect, and God knows that about us. And oftentimes, if you find yourself breaking free from a relationship with someone of that nature, consider that God saving you behind, because it was the same thing for me. It was the same thing for me. It was a way of getting you, listen, I was giving you signs. I was giving you, thoughts. I was trying to speak to you in your dreams. I was trying to show you things about this person. But, those red flags, his signs, we weren't paying attention to those things. We're just too busy being, caught up in what's going on in the moment and caught up in trying to keep that relationship intact by any means necessary, that it pulled us away from him. And, he's very forgiving. He's very loving. So just remember that he's not going to harp it over you, but we all know the deal, right? When you believe in God, you ask for forgiveness and you learn from your lessons and do what you have to do from that point on. Because any life with God, listen, like I said, I'm not pushing my religion on anyone, okay? I'm really not. So for anyone who believes in God, you know what I'm talking about. But any life that has God in it is a life worth living, because he just wants what's best for you. That's all. He just wants what's best for you. Unfortunately, sometimes we go for what we want rather than what we need. And that's the whole dynamic of being in a relationship with a narcissist, or being in a dynamic with a narcissist. We go for what we want, but really don't go for what we need. So if it's not going in the direction that we want, that we desire, when we desire, we're desiring based on our flesh. We're desiring based on our heart, but our heart can be treacherous. It's all about what you actually need. All right, guys. See, when I start talking, I'm just like, hi, Riri. Hi, sweetheart. All right, let's see. Ty, I took psychology and sociology in high school as an elective, learned some great stuff. But this experience with narcissists, man, yeah, you know what? It's sometimes, I listen, I wish we all went through the experience? No, I don't. I don't wish that on anybody. But sometimes it takes going through the experience to really, truly understand. And it's like I said, people can go to school for this stuff. People can study through a textbook. You can study so much. But I honestly think, and this is my opinion, it's, I'm not stating as a fact, but I honestly think you have a better impact and you have a way, a bigger way of really helping other people through their emotions and their emotions if you have experienced it, if you have gone through it. It definitely, but of course, if you are like detached from it, so that means you experienced it, you healed from it, and you're completely detached from it, that would help you, to, because people can simultaneously heal, and it's amazing. Because when I started my channel, was I 100%? No, I wasn't. I was not 100%. I was not 100%. I wasn't even close to it. But the mere fact that I kept learning more, and I'm interacting with other people, and I'm building a bond with other people based on my traumatic experience, but in a healthy way. You understand the difference? How you build a bond with a toxic person based on your trauma. Okay, that's a trauma bond. But you can build a bond with someone who's trying to heal as you're trying to heal, and you can pretty much flip it and turn it into something healthy. And that's called a support group, right? That's like how you support one another. You get through the motions with someone else who's actually experienced it. I find it to be a lot, I want to say, a lot more effective for people who've suffered abuse, to really, this is why I do these lives, because when you guys come together and you guys talk to one another and you guys help one another, and you got you give your input to one another, it helps. You're simultaneously healing. You're healing yourselves, and you're helping heal other people. That's the end game. That's the goal. So in doing the whole psychology big me, you have a lot of psychologists, you have a lot of therapists who have not been through the experience, and they learned it in school, which is fine too. I mean, listen, they're very studious, but you do get a sense of understanding when you're dealing with someone who has experienced it like you have, or understands based on their own experiences what you have gone through. You do get a lot more. I think you get a lot more out of it. Let's see. Okay. Davey, you're referring to the story of Narcissus, the Greek, who was the one that was so enamored with himself. Narcissus was so enamored with himself that he ended up meeting his demise, because he was so enamored with his reflection, and he was so he just like felt like he was just, he was the shit. He was better than everybody. He was good looking, and he was walking around like just constantly looking at his reflection. And oddly enough, how did he die? He died while trying to like be so innately, I'm gonna say, he was so enamored with himself that he ended up looking, I think it was in a river or a lake or a pond or something. And because he was so enamored with himself, he ended up falling in, and he ended up drowning because he didn't know how to swim. So it's like, I guess it's kind of like, I don't want to say karma. I don't want to say karma. If somebody else says it, okay. I don't really want to say that's karma, but that's kind of like humble yourself. Humble yourself. I just did a post on Facebook, and I said I'd rather humble myself than have God do it. You know, I'd rather humble my attitude and humble my, I don't walk around with a very inflated ego and arrogance, because before the fall comes pride. So at the end of the day, and haughty people, they don't make it very far, guys. All right, let's see. Um, Yeah, Davey. Davey says attachments. Man, at first they definitely were attached, like locked on, which was crazy. Then they just went 100% oppositional, like total opposite of who they were. Well, yeah, that's because in the beginning, when you're dealing with someone who's a narc or who's a sociopath, the very beginning, it's they have to give you an impression. They have to give you the false mask. They have to give that to you. They have to show you what they think you want to see. They have to speak to you, in a way that they think you would want them to speak with you. I will 1111. I will. I might, I might just actually do another video on it. Um, but yeah, baby, they have to give you that impression of, this is who I am. Oftentimes they're going to mirror you because they need to. This is the stage where they're studying you, so they need to know your likes, they need to know your dislikes, they need to know a lot of things about you. And in the beginning stage, this is with anybody. In the beginning stage, if you're dealing with a narcissist or a sociopath, you think they're getting to know you. They're getting to know all about you. They want to know, where you're from, your family, and so forth and so on. And this is why it makes it confusing for people, because you have genuine people who are trying to get to know people, and you guys being, once victims now turned survivors, you guys getting into this stage of, because your trust issues, listen guys, and it's okay because we can all admit it, your trust issues are through the roof right now. Okay, you are completely guarded. You're completely guarded, and you'll sit there and wonder, are you a narcissist? Are you a sociopath? Are you this? Are you that? It's all about opening up your intuition. You have to just be more discerning now. Now you have to understand. You understand what you went through. So, you have to try to decipher the difference between someone getting to know you because they genuinely want to know you, or someone getting to know you because they're trying to just, get information on you. And if it doesn't feel natural, if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't flow for you, then, you just kind of, you gotta pull yourself back from it. Because if it seems forced, or if it seems like that person is just being a little too pushy, or they're just being like, harping on it, then that's a clear red flag. That's a red flag that your attitude about it could be, well, what are we dying tomorrow? Like, so what's the rush? What are you doing? And you always just have to pay attention. I told you guys before, pay attention to facial expressions. Pay attention to certain ways they say certain sentences, the way they use certain words. Pay attention to how they look at you, or if they stare at you. There are so many different signs. I often can tell within the first couple of minutes, I can often tell when someone has a very bad attitude. The minute, like within the first couple of minutes, because it's like that octane in their voice, because sometimes it's kind of hard to mask that. So if they speak in a certain way, or if they have a certain curvature to how they speak, I can often tell when someone has a really bad attitude. And even though people who have bad attitudes, they don't have to be narcissists, but at the end of the day, you're not sitting there dealing with someone who's going to constantly have a bad attitude. You can pretty much learn how to either maneuver around, or if it becomes too much for you, just fall back. People who suffered codependency, and it's funny because earlier today I was watching a video. I don't know if you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys know of this person, and I give it to her for coming out because lovely Mimi, she did video about a year or so ago in regards to her divorce from her ex-husband, and she was talking about her relationship with him. She was talking about how the toxicity and everything was there, all the signs were there, and it was clear as day, but she was afraid to be alone. She couldn't leave the relationship. She felt afraid to, which that's common with codependent people. That's extremely common. And because she was afraid of being alone, and she said, I stayed and I dealt with it. I was with this person for over a decade, and it was because I have no excuse. I enabled, she plainly put it that she enabled the behavior. And codependent people have they have a big tendency to do that. They enable the behaviors because they're afraid of being abandoned. They're afraid of being left. They're afraid of not being accepted, not feeling wanted. They've been constantly invalidated throughout their life. And when they come across a narcissist, the narcissist is clearly giving them attention. They're giving them affection. They're showing them certain things that make them feel good, or they're doing certain things that make them feel good. So, when a codependent comes in contact with a narcissist, it's kind of like, all right, you did that. I didn't like it. I wasn't really feeling it, but I can, I'll let it slide over my shoulder. And it just gets put in the back of their head. And then the narcissist can do something else. Okay, all right, fine. You know what? It's not that bad. Okay, and they let it pass. And then it gets to a point when the narcissist gets, it's like getting ridiculous. The codependent may speak up and may say something. When you decide to do that, listen, whether you're a codependent or not, I'm just speaking in reference to codependence. But when you decide to do that, you decide to speak up and you decide to say, okay, now this is really not only bothering me, but this is kind of like, this is just beyond, violating the boundary, and you're kind of becoming disrespectful. When you decide to speak up, that's when they'll decide to really put it on you. Okay. And by that, they, whether it be narcissistic rage, whether it be lashing, whether it be cursing you out, whether it be, just trying to intimidate you, trying to bully you, whatever the case may be. But the fact of the matter is that when it boils down to your codependency, after a certain period of time, after a while, a narcissist already knows they know the dealio. They know the ins and outs. They know that you're codependent. They know that you crave being in a relationship with them. At that time, they knew you craved being in a relationship with them. They knew that your loyalty was to them. And the mere fact that you were letting them get away with even the smallest things, you're letting them get away with certain things. It's like, okay, I can pretty much say or do what I want. And if this person decides to, speak up on it, well, I'm just going to lash at them. I'm going to lash at them, or I'm going to intimidate them, or I'm going to bully them, and I'm going to push them into the corner, because they know that as a codependent person, your biggest fear was being abandoned, because you gave it to them in the relationship. You gave them the attention. You gave them the admiration. You gave them all of that. That's why codependent people, for a narcissist, codependent people are like, it's kind of like Baskin Robbins. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so many different flavors, but they constantly come back because there's always going to be something there that, they want, or something that they crave. Codependence, and I've given this to you guys before plenty of times. They need y'all. If you are a codependent, if you were a codependent, if you're getting through your codependency, they need you. They've always needed you. They need your validation. They need your ego stroking. They need your loyalty. They know that you have a good heart. They know that you're willing to do anything for them. They know that you want to make it work. You're trying your hardest. You've shown them how much you have tried to really make the relationship work. You've shown them, or that you want to try to show them everything that they've never experienced. And, based on all the stuff that they told you that everybody from their past did to them, you want to do something different. You've shown them all of this, and yet they still took advantage, and they still took you for granted because of your codependency. They take your codependency, they take advantage of it. They know that you want this so bad. And the fact of the matter is, guys, if you were codependent, you didn't want them. I'm gonna say it again. You did not want them. You wanted the feeling. You wanted the dynamic. You wanted the essence. You wanted honestly speaking, and I'm gonna be real with you guys, if you come from a codependent background, you wanted what your parents were supposed to give to you. Okay, that's what you wanted. You wanted emotional connection, you wanted that bond, you wanted, but you didn't have restrictions, you didn't have boundaries. And because you didn't have boundaries, they knew you wanted all of these things. And on top of it, you had no boundaries. You didn't really, whenever you would try to stand up for yourself, they would, until you got pushed into the corner, and they had you to a point where you were walking on eggshells. The minute they got away with that was the minute they said, light bulb, now I know what to do when I want to show you who's the boss. Now I know what to do when I want to do what I want to do. And I know it's hurting you and I know it's disrespecting you. And if you try to approach me or you try to say something to me about it, now I know what to do. And it's because of your codependency. It's because of that. It's because if you've latched on, especially for you guys who've been like back and forth, either with the same narc or, with different types of toxic people, it's really not about attracting a toxic person, because anybody can attract a toxic person. Anyone can. It's about the length of time that you had with that person. You have a lot of people who've been in completely abusive relationships that have been with them for years. And people standing on the outside is like, does this person not see what that person is doing? Does this person not see that this person doesn't respect them? They have a very thick veil, because most people, and we can sit here and judge other people, guys. We can sit here and judge other people's relationships and say, oh, that could not be me. That could not be. You don't know what's going on inside that home. You don't know what's going on in that dynamic. Okay, because that person who's abusing their partner can be completely like gaslighting. And remember what I told you, psychological abuse, emotional abuse is not, you can't see it. You can't see it. It's not something that's physically on someone. It's something that goes on covertly behind closed doors. Behind closed doors. I'm sorry, guys. Let's see. Kara, they cause so much deception and trauma in the relationship and then claim they emotionally checked out, as if you did something to them. That's simply because they couldn't drain any more out of you. When they do that, when they've gotten to a point that it's like, okay, you're no longer fun for me to use as my emotional punching bag. You're no longer fun for me to, you know, it just became a bore. And it's crazy to put it that way. Like, after everything throughout the entire dynamic, now all of a sudden it's like, it's boring. I'm done. I'm over. It's like a little kid with a toy, and it's like, okay, I don't want to play with this toy anymore. And they throw it. And then they go and, they go to a new pile and want to play with new toys. And then when they no longer want to, it's kind of like, I don't want to reference it, but it's kind of like Toy Story. When Andy had Woody, and that was his favorite toy, and he was just playing with it, and that was his best friend. And then what happens? He gets a new toy. He gets Buzz Lightyear, right? And then boom, Woody gets thrown on the bed, bounces up the bed, and right underneath the bed. And then now he's playing with the new. That's exactly how a narcissist is. That's exactly how it is. And then when they get bored with that new toy, then they want to, you know what? I got this other toy over here that I threw to the side. And that's generally around the time when a narcissist will try to hoover you. And they'll be like, oh, listen, why do we have to stay stuck on the past? All right, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I admit it. I messed up. But let's try to, let's just try. And they'll spend a lot of time trying to get you to forget. try to get you to forget, and they'll tell you, remember the good times. Let's remember the good times. Let's remember when we, when we used to do things together. Let's remember those good times. I can't, me personally, if an ex were to come to me and be like, hey, Erica, do you remember? Nope. But you don't remember when nope. No, I remember when you disrespected me. I remember that much. I remember when you were hurting me and I told you were hurting me. I remember that much. And you cursed me out and pretty much told me to go F myself. I remember that. Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember when you drove past me, I felt like you didn't see me and you were laughing in my face. I remember that. Yep. I remember when everything you said and did, and a couple of days later you came at me like nothing happened, like we were the best of friends. I remember that. I remember that whole episode. I remember when you bring that up to them. It's like, oh God, because now you're putting the mirror to their face. Now you're holding them accountable. You're holding them accountable for what they've done. Like, we're not going to sit here and pretend that didn't happen. We're not going to do that. We're not going to sit here and act like, first of all, I don't make anybody my enemy. Okay, I'm me and my ex, we're not enemies. We're not friends, but we're not enemies. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've forgotten, because I haven't. It's when it's still so fresh in your mind, like you could just, I remember like it was yesterday. That part of my brain has reminded me, I know that you have moved on, and I know that you are in a better place in your life and you're in a more healed place of your life, but I need you to just keep this right here. Just keep this bit of information right here, because that bit of information is going to protect you in the future. And I keep it there. I keep it there. I'm not going to, and that's one thing, guys, don't let nobody, especially anybody who's been, whether it be your family members or it be in your relationships, don't let anyone just come back and be like, why you got to bring up old stuff? Well, you old, you old news. So why don't we bring up old stuff? Because after everything is said and done, a lot of them like to wait until the dust settles. They like to wait until the dust settles. They like to test the water with you. They may text you. They may, they may try to find out what's going on in your life, or if you're having a celebration in your life, you're doing something celebratory, or you are becoming a success, or, you're just pretty much, you're just creating your peace, and you're just having fun, and you're enjoying yourself. You're living again. They may come out of nowhere and just be like, oh, I want to congratulate you. How the hell do you even know about it? That should be your first question, because if you have them blocked and you have no one around you that deals with them, how do you even know about my celebration? It's because they're watching you. It's because they're watching you. Okay? Yeah, Jenna, I tell people, don't let the whole, listen, can we put the past behind us? Especially when they didn't give you clarity. They didn't give you closure. They didn't say anything. They just straight up like left it open-ended, because, they leave it open-ended because they want to have some form of, they want to have a way to come back. They want to have a way to come back. And if you guys, this is why I say, if you guys get into new relationships, when you're ready, of course, but if you get into a new relationship, please keep that private. Keep that private, okay? Because there ain't nothing worse than a bitter ex, especially a narcissist ex, that will sit there and try their best to interfere with you and your relationship. And I'm not talking about you're my man or you're my girl, we should be together. No, I'm talking about the ones who fake being your friend. The ones who say, yo, let's just, can we at least just be friends? Sure, we can be friends. Okay? Because they will do any and everything to be a part of your life just so they can have front row seats to your relationship and what's going on in your life, in your relationship with that person. Okay? And if you have kids with them, that's even worse, because they use their kids. They'll use your kids to snoop around. They'll use your kids to pretty much feed them information. Narcissist parents do this too, guys. They will use their kids If they try to seem like they're cordial with you, oh, well, we're cordial, we're cool, I don't give a damn who you're with or whatever. They will use, if you're co-parenting with a narcissist, they will use your kids to try to gain information, to try to get information as to what's going on in your life, what's going on with your partner. Hold on 1 second. My ex would talk about the same thing for several months, and I was like, seriously? But she'd do something 5 minutes later. She'd do something when, wait, I'm sorry, Ty. But she'd do something, and 5 minutes later, she'd do something, and when I call her out, she said, I said sorry. Listen, they're very contradicting. So don't be surprised if you do something, whether it be intentional or not, and you have to apologize for your actions. And of course, if they do something 10 out of 10 times, it is intentional, and they'll always have a reason, a justified reason for why they do it, why they did it. Okay, that's always how it would be. Hi, Onita. Thank you, sweetheart. Hi, Casper. Yeah, Onita. It's covert narcissists are simply, they walk with the smile. Like deep down inside, covert narcissists are kind of like destructive volcanoes. Deep down inside, they're destructive volcanoes, but on the outside, they're just calm. They'll smile in your face. They'll seem very calm. They'll seem very, cool, calm, and collected. But deep inside, if they, like, for example, if they have narcissistic injury, it's a very big bruise, a very big hit to their ego. And it's like, there's so much going on in their brain. There's so much going on inside, but on the outside, they'll just be completely calm, completely still, quiet, like nothing. And I want you guys to be careful with that. I want you to be careful with that, because a lot of the time when they're in that, especially if they've endured narcissistic injury, whether it be rejection or you just flat out like call them out on their crap, and you just, and it's like, it's to the point where that onion was peeled so far back. A lot of the time they do plot. And which is why I tell people, listen, if you've already found yourself in a position where a narcissist would be completely obsessed with you, but not for the reason you would think, because they're in love with you, they love you, or whatever the case may be, it's usually because they're trying to get back at you. Narcissists are very big on revenge. They're extremely big, especially female narcissists who have been rejected. Male narcissists may walk around with the, entitled and I'm better than everybody, or whatever the case may be, and they may say, well, F you, I can find better, but whatever it is. But a female narcissist, you hurt a female narcissist ego if you reject them, especially when you are the object. And I use that word very, very, very heavily, object, because that's what you are to her. You're an object. When you are the object of her affection, se jodió la cosa. Because she will not stop. She will not stop until she has exacted her revenge on you. Be very careful, please, guys, when it boils to a female narcissist. And I'm going to get more into that when I do the female sociopath video, because rejecting a female narcissist, first of all, women, listen, we all know it. Women don't, we don't. I think this is kind of that whole why women prefer men to approach, because that whole idea of being rejected, it's like, which I get it completely. But when you're dealing with a female narcissist, no. You deal with a female narcissist and you reject them, especially when they come to you. If they try to, give you advances, like for example, they try to, sexually give you sexual advances, or if they try to use their charm on you, and it's like, you're gonna deny this, you're gonna deny me, and they're just, like, or they give you that whole overly confident attitude where it's like, why would you deny this? You know how many men want me? Do you know how many men would kill to have me? Okay, go. Okay. It's like, what do you want me to do? I don't want you because you're a lying sack of crap. I'm trying to calm down on the cursing, guys. I really am. And it's not worth it. It really isn't worth it, guys. Yeah, I know, Jenna. I know it's gonna feel like that for a while. It really will. It will feel like that for a while. You are going to be experiencing so many different things, so many different phases. Um, I found myself maybe after a year, because I did a lot of my withdrawals. The withdrawals were hard. I don't know about you guys, but the withdrawals for me were extremely hard. Like, there were nights where I thought I was gonna, like, die. Like, I literally thought I was gonna have to go to the hospital, because there were nights I would be home alone and I'd be sleeping or trying to sleep, and I could not get past the withdrawals. And it felt like I was about to, hey Gil, hi sweetheart. It felt like I was hyperventilating. I couldn't breathe, and it's just so hard. It was just so hard for me to really, like, to have a grasp on it. I don't know how far you are, Jenna, with it. I don't know how far along you've come. But over time, just when you think you're like at the peak and like, oh my gosh, when is it gonna end? When is it gonna stop? When are these crazy thoughts gonna leave my mind? When am I not gonna have to deal with this anymore? Deal with these feelings anymore? It'll be a little bit. It will be a little bit. Because your mind is now grasping everything, and your mind is it's trying to catch up. It's trying to catch up to everything that you I want to say bypass, but I want to say, well, I don't want to say ignored, but it was pretty much where, like, you subconsciously ignored certain things in your dynamic. So now that you are becoming more logical in your thinking, and you're starting to, because people, when you leave a relationship, or when you end a relationship, a toxic relationship or a narcissistically abusive relationship, everything that you did not pay attention to, everything you hadn't thought about before, with a logical mind, it's now all coming to you. Now all of it's coming to you, because now you're going backwards to see, okay, wait a minute. Now I have I got a clear head. So now, what did I miss? How did this happen? And then when you go back and you start, oh, okay, you start pinpointing different moments, different times, different areas of your relationship. And it's gonna take a little bit. It will take a little bit. It will take some time, but you're capable of it. You're capable of getting through it. Trust me. Yeah, Davey. The withdrawals are the worst part, because it's leaving an abusive relationship. Hi, Hello Kitty. Leaving an abusive relationship, a toxic relationship, or just leaving a trauma bomb with a toxic person. It's like coming off a drug. You're coming off of a drug, okay? And the experience, people say, that the experience of heartbreak when a relationship ends, it's like an experience that feels like it's just so close to death. And in this case, if you have someone who has a regular breakup with someone who can experience severe heartbreak, and it takes them, may take them months or maybe even years to get over the person, imagine leaving a relationship with someone who's a narcissist, who is a sociopath, because it's like, it's just years of programming. It's just all this time you spend with this person, your mind was programmed, it was rerouted, and now it's like, now you have to go back and unscramble everything. You have to unscramble it all. That's why they say it's important to do your healing before you get involved with anyone else, because then you end up, if you don't do the work and you don't heal, you end up creating a trauma bond based on the trauma you had with your ex narcissist. You create the trauma bond with the next person, and then you're the villain who's created the trauma bond with that person. So you have to release all of that first. You have to heal from all of that first before you can really get involved with someone else. Which is pretty much the same thing as dealing with a narcissist. You're dealing with someone who has severe trauma. You're dealing with someone who never healed their trauma from their childhood, who never healed and learned self-love, because as a codependent, we don't have, well, I'm not going to say we, because I'm no longer codependent, but as an ex-codependent, I didn't have self-love. I had no self-love. I didn't feel good enough. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel any of those things. So when I was involved in relationships with people of my opposite nature, because clearly, if I'm codependent, I'm either going to be involved with someone who is, who's either a narcissist or someone extremely toxic, or I can be with someone who's of a secure attachment. But if I was with someone who was of a secure attachment, I was the one being toxic towards them because of my codependency. You understand? Codependency is a form of toxicity. It is. But clearly, if you're with someone who has secure, no real severe traumas, you end up becoming toxic for that person, because you end up projecting your trauma onto that person. If you are with a narcissist, if you are with a sociopath, you have no time to project that trauma onto that person, because that person is too busy projecting their trauma onto you. So now you are a codependent person who is dealing with your own traumatic wounding from your own childhood. And now you're taking on the trauma of someone else who has extreme traumatic wounding from their trauma. You're basically taking on double that, which is why when your relationship ended and it felt like it was damn near impossible to let it go, because you have all of this trauma that's on top of you. Baby, yeah, and it's like, what if I'm just more patient, They got issues, etc. I can lend an ear, etc., and make them feel better. But nah, they're like a punching. Yeah, that's the narcissist. Broken people, guys. Broken people know they're broken. They know they're broken. Come on, they know that they're broken. They know that their behaviors are unacceptable. They know that what they're doing is wrong. They know all of this. They know that, something. The only thing is that because it's easier to evade responsibility and accountability, they just blame it on other people. The people know if they're broken. They can sit there and be like, something, I'm a great person, I'm this, I'm that, or whatever the case may be. But if you have a string of relationships or a string of events that happen and end up where you're the person who is creating the problem, you're the person who is constantly just emitting that negative energy, they know they're broken, guys. They know they're broken, and they know that you wanted to fix them. They knew that you wanted to fix them. They knew that you wanted what was best for them. They knew that you were willing to give them the world on a silver platter. I've had people in my life where I tried giving them the world on a silver platter, and they sold me out for people who wouldn't even give it to them on a paper plate. So that, to me, at the time when I was suffering my codependency, projected onto me that I was not worthy. I internalized that, and I felt like, oh, you're picking these people who clearly don't give a damn about you, or who clearly are superficial, or they can't supply you with the loving and the caring and the nurturing that I can supply you with. You left me for that, then that means something is wrong with me. I had to learn how to break out of that, because there was nothing wrong with me. It's just that person is very superficial. That person is very selfish, self-serving. That person is the one who is extremely broken. And that person decided to do whatever it is they wanted to do, all while projecting it onto me that I'm the one who has the issue. Kind of makes you want to go and just punch him in the freaking throat, right? And I'm not saying do it, but it does kind of make you want to do that. Just give me 1 second. Did I see? I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, Sandy. Why can't I? Oh, here we go. Sandy, I try to end things good between us. He doesn't accept to talk. They don't give closure as well. No, they don't. They don't want to give you closure because they don't want it to really end. They don't give you closure because they don't want it to end, guys. Okay? They just keep, they keep like going in circles, or they'll like zigzag. You ever played those games? I don't know if you played tag, and if you're chasing someone and they go real fast, like they'll be running in one direction and then they zip to the next, and they zip to. That's how a narcissist is. They won't give you a direct answer. They won't give you a direct answer, or if they do, it usually ends with, I'm confused. I don't know what I want. I don't know, I don't know this, I don't know that. And they'll clearly give you the option of, let's be friends, or let's go on a break. Those are the common things that they tell you. Let's go on a break. Let's be friends. Let's let's just see what'll happen from this point on. Like, I listen. If you've been with someone for 5-6 years, or hell, 3 or 4 years, and they try to revert, you're still invested. You're deeply invested in that relationship, and they try to revert. Oh, I don't know what I want. Oh, I don't know this. I don't know that. Listen, I've had my fair share of guys who were insecure with themselves, and because I look a certain way, because I have a certain appeal. I mean, people looked at me, they looked at my pictures. Oh, she's an attractive woman, this and that, or whatever the case may be. Okay, and because I guess I'm not tooting my own horn, I guess I made them look good. I have a certain appeal to myself. You guys have seen me in different styles, different, and it's enough to make someone, especially with my demeanor, who I am, is enough to make someone feel good about themselves, because clearly I'm not a bully. So I'm an attractive woman who is not a bully, who's not looking to hurt people, not looking to, emasculate or bring people down. So if I make this person look good to the point where their ego is, it's good. It's up there. I helped bring up their low self-esteem. And now that I've done that, now that I've done my part without even realizing that I had a part, now it's like, okay, well, I have enough confidence, and I'm getting attention from other places. I'm getting, attention from other people. I really don't need you anymore. Thank you, Riri. I like to, like, I mean, because at the end of the day, I'm like, listen, I am not the most beautiful woman in the world, but you know something, what I have is simply set for me. It's, I don't need to. I love to empower other women. I will never ever put another woman down. I will never sit there and say I'm better than someone. I look better than someone. Never, never. And even in the dynamic that I've had in my relationships, I've never put anybody down. I've never sat there and emasculated a man. I would never do that. I have a son. So why would I emasculate someone else's son when I have one myself? Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Davy. But I wouldn't do that to someone else's son. I wouldn't do that to someone else's child. And unfortunately, you have women who walk this earth who do it with no hesitation, with no problems, and they do it with such. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, EJ. Oh, guys, you guys are making me emotional. Stop it. But thank you. But you have women who do this and don't care. They simply do not care. And unfortunately, a lot of you ladies, you guys have dealt with men, narcissistic or narcissists. You have dealt with men who were extremely emasculated, whether it be by their mothers, whether it be by any of the other women in their family, or it be by ex-girlfriends, ex-narcissist girlfriends. You dealt with guys that really have suffered because male narcissists suffer an extreme amount of emasculation. Okay, and we're not talking about just emasculation is pretty much the stripping of the identity of that person. So women can be emasculated too. It's I think it's a unisex word. So women can be emasculated too, but it's a stripping of their identity, what they identify with. If you have a man that's trying to identify as a man, it's hard for them to identify as a man because they've been emasculated throughout their life. And I'm sorry, guys. I just want to make sure. Kara, he seems sad also, cried about our loss, and the entire time, even after my proposal, was being deceptive. Never put his foot down when it came to his sister. Yeah, when it boils down to their family, they are too heavily tied with their family. They come from. I've told you about the narcissist family. They come from a family that is filled with dysfunction, that's filled with a lot of trauma, and narcissist families are often correlated with cults. Okay, narcissist families have extreme traumas, extreme dysfunctions in the background. So as much as a family can seem well put together, like a unit, like a very strong unit, like a team, the reality of it is that that's all an act. It's all an act. In families, you have enablers, you have manipulators, you have narcissists, you have you have everybody in family gatherings, in family dynamics. And if you expect a narcissist to go against their family, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. This is not going to happen, because that's where it all originated. And that family will be more than than willing to, because narcissist families are like, listen, we're our own team, we're our own section here, and even though they may lie to one another, they may hurt one another, they may talk about each other, they may do all kinds of underhanded bullcrap towards each other, When it boils down to someone standing outside of the dynamic, someone who is not affiliated with that family, but you are kind of like coming in, it's them against you. Especially because I mean, listen, I've explained to you guys, I got a lot of backlash. I get a lot of backlash from my content, but it's not for the reasons you would think. I don't get backlash from actual people. I get good feedback from different types of people. I get backlash from the kind of people that are feeling some kind of way because of how I bring my message across. And it's because a lot of people are starting to understand more clearly. A lot of people are understanding their situation. So, you know, which is why I get the different types of people who come into the chat or who would leave comments, like negative comments on my videos. And, I mean, you know what they say? You must be doing good if you had haters, right? But I've had, I've had a relative of my ex message me in regards to my videos. And it's because, someone went to her and told her that I was doing whatever. I don't even know if it's true or not because I have yet to see any screenshot of any kind of message. But someone was trying to cause problems. Someone was trying to get a reaction from, either side. So either they would attack me or I would attack them. And as much as I go through my experience and I explain to you what I have experienced, I've always practiced anonymity. I never reveal anybody's information. So it's mind-boggling to me, the extremes and the lengths that people will go to try to destroy someone else. Try to get someone hurt, try to have someone. And me, I'm one. You can say anything you want about me. You can, I've never had a smear campaign done on me before, but if they start doing it, hey, like I said, as long as I get my check in the mail, you can tell them anything you want. Say what you will about me. Do what it is that you guys do to each other. Act the way you guys act with one another. The way I see it is, the minute it becomes a physical problem, or the minute that someone wants to try to do something because this is where my child rests his head, this is where my son lives, the minute it becomes a problem in that aspect, we're going to have a very big problem. So I try my best to stay away from that negative aspect of things, because they want to intimidate. A lot of them like to intimidate you. They want to bully you to keep you quiet. They want you to shut up. They don't want you to talk about it. They don't want you to expose. They don't want you to express. Yep. Yeah, Cicely. And then the crazy thing about it is that I don't, like I said, I don't. When this person messaged me, they tried to say that my followers, my subscribers, are messaging them. I find that highly impossible, because I didn't start my channel until about maybe a year and some change after I had gone through my experience. I didn't start my channel till way later. So the mere fact that it's a way to try to bait me, and be careful of that too, guys. Don't let them bait you. Please don't let them bait you. They will say or do anything possible to really try to get you to really try to get you to jump out of character. Don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. If they want to talk, let them talk. If they want to try to, spread gossip, whatever the case may be, just keep yourself away from that. Like I said, out of sight, out of mind. I can only imagine. And the only reason I can only imagine is because I don't pay attention to these people. I don't look in their direction. I don't bother with them. I don't do any of that. And I think part of that is the reason why I don't I'm more focused, but you guys are more the reason, because as much as I sit here, and I was telling Amanda, as much as I sit here telling them, don't respond, don't react, I have to do the same thing. I could only imagine what's being told about me. I could only imagine what's being, what's being put out there about me. And like I said, I don't care. I do not care. If I get whim of it, first thing I want is my check. I want my cut. That's it. You're going to use my name. You're going to use my pictures. You're going to try to sit here and talk crap about me. I don't care. I want my cut. I want my cut. Make it out to Erica Sanchez. Okay? Make it out to Cash. I want my cut. I don't care what other people say or feel or think about when it boils down to me. People can try to intimidate me. People can try to say, hey, you're bitter, you're this, you're that. I'm in such a happy state of mind. I'm in a better place. I'm actually feeling good about myself. And I'm actually, I'm here with you guys. So don't let them have you thinking that you're bitter either because you're talking about it. Because that's another way to try to shut you up. They will try to shut you up by any means necessary. Okay? And, the way I see it is a negative by a negative will create a positive. Okay? You got to bully the bully in order to really gain some form of a peaceful effect for yourself. I have no problem doing that. I really do not have a problem doing it. And people are going to, oh yes. Oh yes, Davey, I can definitely, I have my dad's hands. So, and I have a very heavy hand, and I try to avoid anything violent. I try to avoid it. So I'm still sticking with it. Thank you, Riri. Yeah, we just gotta focus on our healing. We gotta focus on our peace. Peace is priority. That's the main thing. And when they try to come out and they try to be like, oh, you're bitter, you're mad, you're angry, you're this, you're that. I'm none of those things. I'm bitter because I'm helping people. I'm bitter because I'm expressing my experience to show people that, they can get through it. I got through it. I'm bitter because of these things. Well, hey, if I'm bitter, guess what? I got some sugar in my cabinet. I'll sweeten it up. So it ain't no problem here. That's just the way I see it. That's the way I see it. Don't let them try to intimidate you. Don't let them, try to bully you to think that, oh, well, let me stay quiet because this person is, is just trying to, like, they're harassing. That's their MO. Harassing people is their MO. Okay? Bothering people, that's their MO. Whether it be your ex, whether it be a relative, whether it be an ex-friend, co-worker, whatever, that is their MO. Their MO is, I'm going to intimidate and bully because, something, I am so insecure and I'm so afraid of exposure. I'm so afraid of people actually knowing my nature, knowing who I truly am. So I need to try to flip this around and make you look crazy, make you look like you don't know what you're talking about, make you look like you're the one who's the bully, who's the villain. Don't let them don't let them do it. Don't let them do it. Hold on 1 second. So, Ty, really? Really? Well, I gotta be Debo, really? Debo's little sister? I couldn't be like, well, then again, I'm like 5'8". I'm about 5'8", 5'8.5", like in between 5'8" and 5'9". And I have the shoulders that look like I can play football. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could do a spear on somebody if I really needed to, if I absolutely needed to. Let me just double check and make sure. See, I love this. I love this interaction. I love everybody just, talking to one another. That's definitely. I have really am my baby D. Well, if that's the case, then you better bring me a snack pack. I want my, what is it? Chocolate chip cookie, or that's okay, Ty. I'll be baby D. It's like I said, just bring me my favorite snack is oatmeal cream pie, so you can bring me that. Davey, yes. If you understand what really goes on in the narc's mind, you'd actually feel kind of bad for them, to be honest. They hurt people to show that they're not weak. And that's really all it is. But at the end of the day, and I get that, completely get that. At the end of the day, it's listen, you're treating me like crap. I'm your emotional punching bag. I am someone who was trying to help you. I'm someone who was trying to love you. I'm someone who is trying to do all of these things for you, and yet you still manage to do this. It just lets me know that, you know, listen, what happened with me was a clear cut indication that this person has severe trust issues, and they walk with a very big defense mechanism. Their defense mechanism is, I have been through enough that I don't trust anybody. And at the end of the day, it's like he resented women because of the women in his life. He resented women because of the women in his life. And when he met someone who is actually the total opposite of the women in his life, who's the total opposite on how these women treated him, I'm going to be 100 with you guys, because at the end of the day, I have not done anything wrong. And at the end of the day, I look at it this way, you know, these women that are in his life, that have emasculated him, that have lied to him, that have used him, that have done whatever it is they've done to him, he still keeps these women in his life. And I'm supposed to take the blame for that? No, I'm not taking the blame for none of that. I'm not taking the blame for any of that. All right, Riri, she's a year no contact. You should be proud of yourself. You should be proud of yourself. It's going no contact is hard. In the beginning, it's very hard. It takes a lot of willpower to do that. When you want so much to reach out to them, and you want so much to be like, you know what? And that's how it is, like in the beginning. You want to reach out to them, you want to talk to them, you want to, you find yourself missing them, you find yourself wanting to speak to them, wanting to, just kind of, but over time you become accustomed to it. And I don't know about you, but like for me, it got to a point where I was like, what am I gonna, like I wasn't even expecting it anymore. It was just like, and then the very beginning, it was kind of hard. It was very hard, actually. I'm not even gonna say kind of hard. It was very hard in the beginning. But then after a while, when I started doing certain things and I started to kind of detach myself, like really detach myself, that quickly that ended a few months in, when I got the happy birthday text. And that was like, I thought I was doing so well. I thought I was doing good. I was like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to driving school. I'm going to get my license. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And get to pick up the pieces of my life, start to regain my peace and my happiness. And you get that message, or you get that phone call, or you get that visit, and it's like it just brings you right back. And that's exactly what it did. It brought me right back. The mistake I made was responding. That was the mistake I made. I responded. But Yeah, Cicely, I know it's going to take time for you too. I know it is. I know that for a lot of people, especially if you've only been like, a couple of months no contact, or it's been a little bit, it's going to take some time. It is going to take some time, but you guys will, which is why I say, if you find yourself feeling on the verge of doing, like, breaking no contact, or, certain feelings or emotions, or just certain thoughts are running through your head, don't hesitate to email me. Don't hesitate to email me. Cicely does it. Cicely does it. Whenever he feels, it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like AA. You could say, kind of, right? Even though I'm sure a lot of us can use a drink, it's kind of like AA. When you feel like you're about to, you know, if you feel like you're about to fall off the wagon, you don't want to be tempted to take a drink. What do? You call your sponsor, right? Guys, don't hesitate to email me. Don't hesitate to send me a message. I mean, listen, if it's an emergency type thing, shoot me a DM in my Instagram. I've had people message me, with emergency questions and situations. And, if that's something you want to do, reach out. Reach out. If you feel certain things or you're not sure, or if you feel like you are on the verge of possibly breaking no contact, you got to have that support system. You got to have that support team, because you don't want to regress. You don't want to go backwards. Don't want to go back into that. Well, Ty says, I'm going to call Amanda and have her pull out the sniper. She'd be the perfect person to call for that, bro. One thing about Amanda, I'll tell you, Amanda is just the kind of person that, if I was to call her and be like, bro, something's going down, yeah, I'm already on my way. And that's like, that is exactly someone I need, because especially when I have so much going on, I'm so consumed in my life with work and everything that's been going on. She's one of those friends that is like, the minute you call, and if it's like an odd time of the day, she knows something's up, because it's so routine. Like, it's so routine between me and her. So if it's like a certain time of the day and I call her, she'll, what's going on? You never call me at this time. Then she would know. Like, that was what I really needed when I was going through my emotions at the time. But better late than never, right? And I got to have that now. Hey, listen, Davey, if you're familiar with Brooklyn, then you already know how we do it out there. So all on this hand too. Let me see. Um, Sadie, I'm almost 2 months no contact. It is really hard. I miss him. I changed my number because he was driving me crazy. Well, Sadie, you did make a smart move on that. Changing your number was a very smart move. Okay, it was a very smart move. And I know that it's hard. I mean, 2 months is still fresh. It's still you're still just getting started. Um, but if you found it to be that it was absolutely necessary, clearly in this case you did, to change your number, then you did make a smart move. Okay, they will you know they will do anything to reel you back in, to hook you back in. And the minute you get on that hook, the minute they reel you in, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse, and you're gonna be in a constant battle, a constant cycle, back and forth, back and forth. Not worth it. Not worth it, honey. It's really not worth it. Okay, the toxicity is, excuse me, I'm so filled with air. The toxicity is just going to really, it's gonna drain you. It's gonna just, your health. Okay, people think it's just mental health. It's not just mental health. It's physical health too, guys. Okay, this kind of abuse can physically, it could just, it messes with your physical health. And at the end of the day, they go to bed sleeping peacefully at night. They go to bed relaxed. They go to bed, doing their thing, all while you're sitting there trying to deal with your emotions, trying to deal with your anxieties, trying to understand, why is this person acting like I never existed? Any of that happened to any of you guys? When everything went down the way it did, it's almost like you didn't exist. It was like you were not even a thought. You went from being in a relationship or being with the person to being absolutely nothing. It's just like, oh, well. And all this time, you're dealing with your healing. You're trying to heal. You're trying to get away from things. You're trying to understand things. They're sleeping peacefully. They're sleeping knowing that they have a whole harem of people giving them attention, giving them what they want. They're sleeping as if they never had a boyfriend. They never had a girlfriend. They're too busy having fun, living the single life and enjoying their new supply. They're too busy doing all of that. I know I encourage empathy, guys. I do a lot of the time. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna be 100. I'll be 1,000 with you. I have no empathy for them. At this point, no empathy. Until people show that they are trying to change, and until people show, and I want receipts. I want all the receipts. Until you show that you are trying to change and you are really trying to change for the better, and you're trying to do it not for the sake of gaining something out of it, or gaining, because I'm a bullshit detector. I am a bullshit detector. I will not play that. You will not come up to me attempting to try to throw your shit at me, because I will pick it up and with your own hands and smack it right back in your face. I'm not the one. I am so not the one. I have no empathy for them. And I'm a very empathetic person. I'm a very nurturing person. I will give you the shirt off my back. You show me your loyalty, you can have the shirt off my back. Hell, you can have one half of my house if you need a place to stay. But I will not show empathy towards someone who shows arrogance, selfishness, cockiness, betrayal. No. Nope. Nope. If your eyelids are on fire, you better carry a bottle of water with you, because I will not even spit on them. This is me being 1,000, guys. Okay, Riri, I grew up in Brownsville. So if you're familiar with that area, I'm very familiar with Bed-Stuy, Flatbush, Prospect Heights. I'm familiar with all of it. Lion of Judah, yes, God is the solution of everything. He is the solution of everything. Unfortunately, these people, the best that we can do for them is pray for them. That's all we can do on our end. We can pray for them. I'm a firm believer that God is good all the time, and I'm a firm believer that God can pull us through any fire. He can pull us through any obstacles, any hardships. When you have people that are just so enmeshed with the devil, I say let them go and let God give it, let go and let God. Give it to God to handle it. Davie, New York. Oh, wow, Jenna, that was not far. I grew up right on, I grew up in the hood. Okay, I grew up in the hood. I grew up by Mother Gaston Boulevard and Dumont. Yeah, Kara. Future faking is just something that they do, something that a manipulator, I don't even want to just say a narcissist, something that a manipulator does to, again, to get what they want. They'll future fake you. They'll make you promises, they'll make you feel like you have a future with them, that they're setting up everything for your future so you guys can have everything, and you guys can, and it's just all a way to to get you to, it's just all the way to get you to give in, to give in to them and to give into their, you know, whatever, because it's about control. It's all about control. That's all it is. All about control. Stella, am I the only one from Canada? I don't know if you are, Stella, but my mom lives like right on the border, like right there by the border. So if I ever go visit my mom, I'll be sure to message you. Maybe I can meet you at the border. We can shake hands. Oh, Riri, I'm actually wow, I live in Queens now. I actually live in Queens now, but my original I originate from Brooklyn. So guys, we'll all go to Canada. Let's all meet up. Let's all meet up in upstate New York, and then we'll go visit Stella in Canada. Stella, I hope you have a big house, because you'll probably have a lot of people coming. Whole hotel. Yeah, see, Stella says the narc called me and said when are we getting married. A week later, I got dumped. You see that right there is, it's, and if you notice, guys, it's that Jekyll and Hyde type of, you know, it's I don't know. I think for some reason when it boils down to people like this, they just get like what is that hormone that we release? What is it called? Oxytocin or something like that? What is the let me just yeah. Oh, it's oxytocin. Oxytocin is commonly called the love hormone or the cuddle hormone because your body does secrete oxytocin in response to different kinds of physical and emotional affection. I think when it boils down to a narcissist, this is what you naturally feel. These are the hormones that you naturally emit when you are you know, when you're clearly in connection with someone who makes you feel a certain kind of way and you release that chemical. But I don't really, I think what the love hormone is to you is the, you know, the manipulation hormone. I'm going to call it the manipulation hormone is to a narcissist. The love hormone, you're feeling feelings of elation, you know, you're feeling good, you're feeling high, you know, as a kite, and you are just loving it. And I think it's similar to what it is they would feel when their ego is being stroked and they are getting what they want, you know, based on the manipulation they've already implemented on that situation. The last time my ex came down for the weekend last year, we had a great weekend. I told her we need to stop playing and go ring shopping, and she said we'll get back to that point again. Like I said, guys, start paying attention to words. Start paying attention to how they say things, when they say things. You know, start paying attention to those things. And it's crazy because when I you know, listen, when I had my situation, I was very patient. I was very kind. I was very loving towards this person. And I'm not going to sit here and say that this person was, you know, well, I don't know if that was truly you know, his intention. I don't know as far as like the good parts, the good sides. It was kind of hard to believe. And even during my discard, it was hard to believe that this person would be capable of these things because, you know, they have a child, they have a daughter, and it was more like, how could you, you know, I couldn't believe any of it because I'm like, how can you treat someone else's daughter this way, you know, when you have one yourself? How can you treat someone else's child this way? I mean, I'm a grown woman, but still, I'm someone's daughter. How could you treat someone this way? And you have one. And that's very hypocritical. It's extremely hypocritical for, for a man to have a daughter and treat women like emotional punching bags, and treat women like crap when you have one. And the crazy part about it is that a lot of them who have, and I mean this in general, men who have daughters, who treat women like, the way a narcissist would treat a woman, a male narcissist would treat a woman, a manipulator would treat one, a sociopath. You have daughters. You really don't think for a second that that kind of karma, if it does not affect you, it can affect your daughter, it can affect your child. Because listen, God knows more than one way to humble somebody. And the mere fact that that was going on, that's what made it so hard for me to believe. It made it hard for me to believe that this person didn't care, that this person didn't love me, that this person, just wanted to have, something that was just going to fulfill their ego, as opposed to have something genuine and true and kind. Then again, I saw how everybody, what did not make sense to me was, it was kind of like, okay, well, that's on one side of the scale. So now let's look at the other side of the scale. Look at how everybody spoke to each other. They didn't really speak with respect to one another. They did not speak with respect to one another. It was, it was just either attitude or, I don't know, for some reason, I felt like there was things being hidden. There were a lot of things being hidden in that dynamic, in that familial, that family dynamic. There were a lot of things being hidden. I felt like people were either using, and not using in the sense of, but using like people using people, people lying to people, people damaging, just doing all kinds of, and I'll be honest, I would not be surprised if there was black magic going on in that family. I'll be completely honest, because at the end of the day, if you have a narcissist mother, you got a narcissist father, or if you're dealing with narcissist family members, do not be surprised if they are sitting at home with a little shrine trying to do some black magic on you to keep you bonded. Do not be surprised at that, okay? Because listen, you have plenty of people who do it, and you got plenty of family members who do it. So have a good night, Riri. Thank you so much for being here, sweetheart. But don't be surprised on that either, guys. Okay, because there are just there's so many different deceptions that go on in these dynamics. And again, this is where they learn it from. These are the people they learn it from. These are, it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, it's really the way it is. Yes, because people who are rebellious, you got people like God doesn't despises rebellion. He does not, which is why like haughty people who are extremely haughty, who are very prideful, very arrogant, just a little too, they're smelling themselves a little too much. You walk with that that clearly is the foundation of rebellion, because you become extremely rebellious to the point where you basically are going against everyone, and you're not looking to listen to reason. You're not looking to really understand. I guess couldn't have a day where I would knock something down. And at the end of the day, guys, what we also got to understand, we can't be, for those who believe in God, of course, for those who believe in, in I believe in Christ, I cannot be unequally yoked with someone, especially someone who walks with these attachments, these demons, these traumas, what have you. I cannot, because someone who is not, who does not believe in God, someone who's not of God, or who does not, does not follow the path that God tries to pave for them. I can't be unequally yoked with somebody like that. I can't be in a relationship like that, because then it's just going to destroy me. If you got someone who's walking with demons, who's walking with spirits, attachments, whatever, it's just going to end up destroying you. It's going to end up destroying you, and it's going to end up bringing you down from what you're supposed to be, what your purpose is. So regardless of it, I can't go back to that situation. I can't go back to this darkness. That's pure darkness, man. I can't do it. I simply cannot do it. It's bad enough I can barely see in the light, let alone in the dark. No, not going to happen. I know. I was trying so hard. I really was. I was trying hard not to knock it over. We're almost closing out, and boom. It wouldn't be alive without the microphone calling. All right, whatever, Amanda. Listen. It has to fall at least once, guys. At least once. All right. Yeah. All right, let's see. Alrighty. So guys, I'm starting to wind down a little, because it's about that time. And it's so nice to see everybody here. It's so nice to see everyone here and everyone talking and just just making this live so, as always, worth every second, every minute of it all. But you guys are definitely, you guys make it all worth. You make it all worth it, dudettes, all you cool people. And this is where I'm getting a little tired, because then I start to blabber a little bit. But guys, so like I said, guys, before we close out, I want. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. Now I remember. Be sure to hit your notification bell so that way you're notified. But I will be working on the video, the female sociopath and the female psychopath. They won't be in the same. You're welcome, Cicely. You're welcome, sweetheart. They won't be in the same video, but there'll be two separate videos. But I'm going to do the female sociopath first, and then I'm going to do the female psychopath. And turn your notification bells on so you're notified, so that way when I post it up, you guys can catch it on the stream. There's a lot more stuff that I'm going to be working on, a lot more that I would like to do, and today's live was actually pretty cool. Very, very. I just love seeing you guys interact with one another, and just becoming more involved. It truly is. It's amazing. It's awesome, and I'm just so glad that I'm a part of it. I'm so glad I'm a part of it. You guys make this channel. Just so you know, you guys, it's all you, and I don't know what else to say. I'm so tired, guys. I've been up since 6:45 this morning, but I thank you, Ty. I thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I'm going to, you guys will catch me on the community board. I'll be posting up stuff, and I will definitely be working diligently and hard on these new videos, because I want you guys to really get everything that you need out of it. And be sure to, when you see them, share it, like it, all that good stuff. All right, so I'm going to be working on that throughout the week, and hopefully have it out by next week for you guys. In the meantime, guys, much love to all of you. Jenna, Stella, Lion, Kara, Davy, Ty, Cicely, all you cool peeps. For the people who could not make it, but I'm sure they'll catch it on the stream, they know who they are. Much love to you guys as well. I wish you all a very, very cool. Oh, guys, yeah. Before I say goodbye, pumpkin spice is back at Dunkin' Donuts. So fall is coming here. I'm super excited. Okay, I'm super excited. I'm super happy, and don't be surprised if I do stuff with little tiny pumpkins in my. I have this obsession with pumpkins. I love them. So just so Tyree, yeah, no, absolutely, sweetheart. You can catch it on the replay. But fall is almost here. I'm super excited. I'm super happy for it. I don't know why I felt the need to mention it, but you know, maybe I'll be less tired because I think the weather is really making me more agitated because of this heat and this humidity. So that's kind of like why I'm a little dragging. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a cool, wonderful, beautiful, blessed week. Okay, wishing you all love, peace, happiness, and of course, placing a hedge of protection on each and every one of you. May God protect you all, bless you all, and keep all negative spirits, vibes, evil eyes, everything, you name it, keep you protected from all of it. And I will see you all next week, same time, same place. I promise next week I will not hit the mic. I'll find a better place to put it, and I'll be more. We'll be more into the live, guys. So thank you so much for being here tonight, guys. I love you all. Wish you all the best. I will see you all next week. Good night, guys. Bye.